This is how you die. Now that's a cool tagline. Okay, so the first Insidious movie made nearly $100 million on a production budget of only $5 million. The first sequel had the same production budget and made $160 million. So who was surprised to hear that a third film in the saga would be made and delivered to the public in the summer of 2015? I know I might not be in the majority here, but for me the two first Insidious films was some of the better horror films out of the last decade. And I actually think the sequel surpassed the first and is one of the better ghost films ever made. And I believe it's James Wan's best film to date. Yeah, I like it even more than The Conjuring and Saw. The Insidious universe also has plenty of room to expand upon and tell more stories. And I was quite happy that they decided to leave the family from the two first films alone for this one, and rather tell an entirely new story. Well, sorta new, as this is a prequel which tells a new story, but also focuses a lot on Shaye's beloved Elise character, and gives us a peek into her psyche and a little bit of her backstory. So the new story this time around focuses on a teenage girl named Quinn Brenner. Quinn is coping with the loss of her mother, and seeks out Elise to see if she is able to help her contact her mother from the afterlife to make sense of it all and get a final goodbye. However, Elise is not in a good place and is not able to deliver what Quinn wants. Elise gives Quinn a final warning that she should not attempt to contact her mother on her own. But if she actually did that, then of course there wouldn't be a movie. Quinn does get in contact with a supernatural being, but it turns out to not be her mother. One night, this entity distracts her, which causes Quinn to end up in an accident by being ran over by a car, damaging both her legs and making her unable to leave her own apartment, where the demon entity can haunt her as much as it likes, and the only way she has any chance of survival is if Elise gets through her own problems and gets there to help her before it's too late. The biggest worry I had about this film was the fact that James Wan was not returning to direct it. I am a huge fan of him and I consider him to be the best guy working with a beloved horror genre these days. I am very happy to see that he hasn't abandoned it totally, even after he got the big chance to do the latest Fast and Furious movie, which performed just amazingly well at the box office and was well received by both critics and fans of the franchise. He is coming back with The Conjuring 2 this summer, and he is also doing some work producing new horror films as well, such as the upcoming movie Lights Out. Taking the director's chair this time around is Wan's good friend and regular collaborator Leigh Whannell. Even though he's been involved in all of the Saw movies and other stuff, this is the first time he's handling the set himself as a director, and it's not exactly an easy task to follow up one, as much of the first two films rely on Wan's directorial skills. Horror fans might also remember Whannell on screen as he did play Adam in the first Saw film and Specs in both of the first Insidious films, a character that he also returned to once more in this third film. So, back to his directing. His work on Insidious 3 is, sorry to say, a bit lacking. Instead of feeling fresh and displaying fantastic camera work and setting up great scares, things feel a bit more generic on this one. For the most part, these rely more on jump scares, and it's just not as creepy as the previous entries to the franchise. That's not to say that there isn't some great scary scenes here though. There is especially one when the demon is shutting off all the lights in Quinn's room, and if you have seen the movie, then you know exactly which scene I'm talking about. Not only is that the best scene in the movie, but it's also a good example of how the entire film is. And by that I mean that there are moments of brilliance here, but the rest of the film is sadly average. The premise of the film is good enough, the look of the creepy demon that after Quinn is cool, and I'm sure I seldom want to be chased down by something like that guy. The ending, however, is predictable, a bit too sappy and disappointing for me. I wish they could have been more clever and done something different and unexpected. What you will leave with after seeing this film is rather the backstory of Elise. Lynn Shaye's character is one of the best things from the first two films, and she is still excellent in this one, and it's nice to get to know her character even more. The rest of the cast is okay. Stefanie Scott plays Quinn Brenner, and she does a good job. The girl is absolutely gorgeous and has a natural charm to her that makes you want to care about the character, regardless if a character isn't that fleshed out to begin with. She's basically just your average teenage good girl that we're used to seeing in horror films. But thanks to Scott, she still comes alive and sets herself apart from the rest. The other members of the Brennan family is dull, The father is cliché and annoying, the little brother could have been cut out of the film without anyone noticing it. Specs and Tucker is back again as the comic relief. They do what they did in the first two films, so if you like them, then you should like them here again. So to summarize, the third Insidious movie is good, but not as great as the previous ones. It's easy to see that this one wasn't done by James Wan, and his presence was deeply missed. That being said, it still had enough good stuff in it to make me hope for a fourth one in the future, and is absolutely a film worth seeing and even buying. So with that, I give Insidious Chapter 3 a 3.5. They could have skipped the final pre-credits jump scare though, as that was just very cheap. See what I mean? What did you think of the Insidious 3 or the entire Insidious franchise in general? Are you hoping for a fourth film? Let me know in the comment section below and subscribe for even more horror reviews in the future.